Yo, what's going on guys? Welcome back to another Dying Light 2 video. I'm your host Jahmy, and today we're going to be talking about the just ended Firearms update / second anniversary update. Now this was labelled as Dying Light 2's biggest update.
Reloaded edition delivers the biggest update yet.
As many of you would agree, this was Dying Light 2's best update to date, but it wasn't perfect. This video we're going to be reviewing the update and talking about everything that was added and some areas which could have been a bit better. As always, if you are new around here, go ahead and drop a sub, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments down below. Now, I make this video every single time there is an update where we talk about the state of the game and where we can move on from here. So this is the current state of Dying Light 2. I'm going to be covering as much as I can in this video. There will be timestamps in this video, so if you want to pause, maybe grab a drink, grab some snacks, and then come back and continue where you left off, there are timestamps, and yeah, you can just move to wherever you want. Without further ado, let's get started. Now, this Dying Light 2 update was probably the most highly anticipated update of Dying Light's history to date. We saw the addition of new Renegade variant, map redesigns, fire new zombie models, an improved gore system slightly, the return of the Scorpio, the addition of 9 new survivor missions, a bunch of new board quests, one of which being the return of Tolga Fatin, new cutscenes, a complete new skybox and lighting rework, graphical improvements such as water reactions being improved. Yeah, not much else to say about that, water goes splash now. New legend levels and a new level 300 outfit, and my favourite part of the update, or second favourite part of the update, is the new gun challenge. Now you might be confused about this, but I will explain why later. Oh yeah, they also added guns. There were also some other improvements, but they were just bug fixes, etc. And speaking of bugs, as with every Dying Light 2 update, there was no shortage of bugs and glitches that followed with this update. But let's save that for later. Now, when you first started the game, you were greeted with this free retro Redux bundle, which by the way is straight flames. It contains an outfit, weapon, a glider, and each one of these were absolutely amazing in my opinion. Now, let's talk about the guns themselves. The guns themselves were surprisingly good. While I'm pretty sure a few of the models were from Dying Light 1, the guns had very good animations and seamlessly flowed into parkour. Doing parkour slow-mo shots made me feel like a badass. Yo, FaZe, when you start in your Dying Light 2 team, get FaZe Jahmy up in here. The guns were really fun to use, and I thoroughly enjoyed shooting up zombies like the true American I am. But you're British. What? Shut up. Oh! Now where was I? Oh yeah, guns. Now it's time to talk about the not so good. While shooting zombies endlessly was fun, well, it wasn't so endless. This is because the only way to get the new guns like the SMG, the shotgun and the rifle was through Jay, who was the new vendor. But the main complaint about the update was the insanely long grind leveling up Jay was. And the gun we had access to at the start of the update was the blue Haran pistol. And this shit sucked. As I'm sure most of you know, the only way to level up Jay was by completing his bounties or getting the weekly bonus for each mission, which could only be obtained once. Other than this, there was no other way to gain XP for Jay, and even these methods were unrewarding, with very small amounts of XP being given upon completion. It was calculated that it would take 3 weeks just to reach level 10. This is ridiculous in my opinion. It was for this reason that I just took to modding and gave myself the guns, because I'm not trying to grind the same missions over and over again just to complete challenges for 3 weeks straight. Now let's talk about the new zombie models. I've seen some differing opinions on them, but for the most part, me included, the community can agree that the new models are much better than the old crusty ones. I've seen some complaints that the new models look too fresh and that the old ones had a better look, but in my opinion, the new ones just look so much better. There is also a much wider variety of zombies now, and they have human skin, and there are even some black zombies and some white zombies, some smaller, taller, some fat and some slim zombies, and this variety was much needed. This update introduced a new skybox with a reworked lighting system, my personal favourite thing that was added with this event. The old lighting was shockingly bad and you could barely see. There were just extremely dark patches in the map with random dark areas like down the street or on the side of a building. This was my main gripe with Dying Light 2's core mechanics before the update, and one I mentioned many times in the past, so I'm glad it finally got addressed and I can now see during the day without needing my flashlight. Now speaking of flashlight, one thing that did disappoint me was that there was no flashlight changes that occurred with the update. The flashlight has been a long running issue which I have mentioned in several videos, and we need flashlight inertia and dynamic shadows. The flashlight range is too long and the flashlight is too bright. Now this has been said for a while now, and I really hope Techland has a plan to change the flashlight and make it more like the first game's flashlight. The flashlight in Dying Light 1 was just perfect, but in Dying Light 2, it has a static white circle in the middle of the screen that doesn't even cast any shadows. Instead, we just get a black outline around objects and zombies. My last point on the flashlight is that you can't even see other players' flashlights. Again, this existed in Dying Light 1 and you could see your teammates' flashlights, so I'm not sure why this isn't a feature in Dying Light 2. But maybe with the Nightmare game mode, when it comes, we will get some more flashlight improvements, hopefully. Now with the new skybox, I'd also expect to see some dynamic day and night cycles, another thing that the community has been asking for since launch of the game. And this update would have been the perfect time to implement it, and I quite literally thought this would be the case. So when I read the patch notes and I saw that there was no dynamic day and night cycle and that the sun still fades in and out, there is nothing more that needs to be said on that. It's been covered so many times, yet it is still not a thing in the game. Now I know you're all eager to get back to the video, and we will do, but first allow me to introduce you to the sponsor of this video. This video is sponsored by FlexiSport in support of their new release of the E7 standing desk. The E7 standing desk is an all-new height adjustable standing desk. The E7 is stable and durable and made of high quality carbon steel with smaller gaps in the table legs for stability. The E7 is also built using enhanced technology, allowing it to be quiet, fast and stable. It also comes in with a built-in cable management system and allows you to adjust the height of the desk with a simple touch of a touchpad. The FlexiSport E7 has a new design for installation and is made for time and cost saving. It also comes with a 7-year warranty and an extraordinary stability. There are multiple materials and colours to choose from and sizes ranging between 120cm to 180cm width. If you guys are interested in getting yourself a standing desk, I will leave a link to FlexiSport E7 in the description of this video. Anyway, let's get back to it. And since we are already on the topic of things that need improvements, I'm going to hand over to Jduak, who will cover some more issues that still remain in the game.
Hello everybody, my name is Jdauk. Thank you Jahmy for having me. In this part of the video, we're going to be talking about how terrible Dying Light 2's co-op really is. It really is a shame that Techland hasn't done anything to fix this, because they're developing so much content around the co-op. So for things like connectivity issues, really bad third-person animations, and restrictions on sharing items just really takes away from the experience overall. Most of the community was happy to see Firearms introduced into the game. That is until people figured out that you can't drop your friends any guns or ammo. This is one of those things that I can understand because they're new and they want people to play through their quests to acquire them on their own. However, I think in the long run, this feature will be detrimental to the co-op experience. The next thing that needs improvement are the third-person animations. This game has so much potential to just feel and look cool while you're running through the city with your friends. In its current state, everything just looks so stiff and awkward, especially when we get into the desync. The desync in this game is arguably one of the most immersion-breaking elements of the co-op. Like I mentioned earlier, Techland is putting a heavy focus on developing co-op content. This is so players can play the game long after they beat the story. However, when we're playing something like the recently added co-op missions, it is very easy to see that this game chugs hard. Playing with one other person is bad enough, but trust me, when you get into a lobby of 4 people, everything starts to fall apart. This type of laggy gameplay has to go. Speaking of poor gameplay elements, one mechanic in particular really stands out in my mind. Well, it'd be none other than the viral leap. In this one, this is where I get kinda mad because I am truly astonished that there's been no work done to this mechanic, despite how horrible it is. I know I'm not the only one enraged about this because it is so repetitive and buggy, especially in co-op, and takes away from the experience every single time it happens. Techland, I am begging you, please fix this. At the very least, just add some physics to them when they miss you, or make them stop turning mid-air. Just make the move make sense. Basically, all I'm saying is these 2 annoying components of Dying Light 2 would just make it so much better if Techland gave it a little bit of attention. Improve the server browser, make the connections stable, try to eliminate desync as much as possible, and please, for the love of God, just fix the viral leap. If Techland actually does these things, Dying Light 2 will be so much better. And these are the types of things that are holding me back from recommending this game to my friends. Anyway, that's gonna do it for my part. Now back to Jahmy.
Now let's talk about the survivor missions. These missions were new missions added with the update that would load you into a tailored mission with enemies and objectives. Now these missions were both good and bad. They were very fun the first time playing them and had new challenges like defending the generators or taking down new bosses and using new mechanics that were very fun. And they did provide a really enjoyable experience. But then we get to the bad. These missions went from being good fun to the bane of my existence. And you know why? Because of this bastard right here. Jay's bounties and missions all involved making you repeat these same missions over and over and over and over and over and over. And since there were only 3 new missions for each week and you barely got any rewards for completing the bounties and even the weekly bonus, it became a massive chore by the end of the update period. But these missions still were cool, and I think they should continue with these and implement more in the future. The only thing that made them a chore was Jay and his bounties and the fact that there weren't enough of them to keep me entertained, and also that I had to keep replaying the same ones over and over. Now moving on, it's time to talk about board quests. These were just new side quests which you could find on either survivor boards or peacekeeper boards. Now some of them were decent, others were just more of the same retrieval missions. What I did like about these board quests though is that they give you some more rewarding items upon completion now, like weapon blueprints such as the new bleeding knives that were added to the game. But the gripe I had with them was that most of them followed the same format of going somewhere, killing some enemies and retrieving an item, then delivering it to the guild locker. But there was an exemption to this, which is the missing persons quest, or in other words, the Tolga Fatin quest. Now let's talk about this mission for a bit. This mission completely blew my mind, and I don't even know if it's in a good or a bad way. Pause. I was not ready for whatever happened during that mission. We went on a time traveling, multiversal, intergalactic, quantum, metaverse, extraterrestrial, sci-fi, parallel universe, existential, planetary, nebula, supernova, nucleosynthesis, intermolecular, subatomic, pentafluoride, interstellar adventure. These missions introduce new mechanics and new areas to explore. If you know me, you know that I love the exploration of new environments more than anything when gaming. So this mission was a really nice breath of air for Dying Light 2. And it was a really fun mission for the most part, which introduced some new mechanics to the game, like using the new goggles to see rifts, etc. We even had an encounter with an alternate reality version of ourselves and had to choose between killing him and saving our universe, or letting him die and destroy our universe to prevent the spread of the virus. Like, what? Where did this come from? And do you want to know something sad? I actually recorded a full like hour-and-a-half gameplay of this and edited it down for hours, and then my PC bricked. Oh, my bad. I meant I bricked. I lost all my files, so I never got to upload it. The only gripe that I had with this quest was the unnecessary amount of just running around the map that we had to do. This made it quite tedious at times, but fortunately I had a broom, so I could fly. But for other players who had to do it all on foot, it must have been a pain to keep running back and forth around the map. For those of you who didn't know, there were also new legend levels that were added to the game. For those of you who didn't know, there were also new legend levels that were added to the game. The previous cap was 250, but this was raised to 300, and at level 300 we got this cool new skin, also the same skin that the enemy Aiden was wearing in the Tolga and Fatin mission. Now one thing that was added with this update, which I said was my second favorite part of the update, is the new gun challenge. This took place in Old Villador and introduced a short challenge whereby you had to fight 3 bosses while taking on the infected. The goal was to defeat 3 bosses within the time limit using the guns and ammo laid out for you in the environment. Now I had a blast during this mission, and even though it was only around 3 to 4 minutes, I had a lot of fun, and I will explain why. The reason I had so much fun in this in particular was because these bosses were genuinely hard to kill, and they each had unique movesets that genuinely felt like a new boss. All of the rifle one. Oh my god! The reason this got me excited was because it made me think of Tower Raid. If the bosses in Tower Raid follow the same pattern, and Techland introduces some new bosses with unique moves and skill sets, just like in Destiny 2 where the bosses were genuinely hard and long fights. Adding a variety of new bosses for Tower Raid will remove the repetitive aspect, just like this gun challenge did for me, even though it was only 3 minutes. But those 3 minutes gave me a taste of how fun new bosses could be. Now for this next segment, I'm going to bring on a very special guest, and we're going to be talking about something that has extreme potential in Dying Light 2, and that is community maps. Now for this segment, I'm going to be passing over to BackBoardFilms, who is another Dying Light 2 content creator. Go drop him a sub for the help, and yeah, let's get straight into the segment.
Hey, what is up everybody? Thanks for having me. Today I want to talk about the possibilities of custom maps. I am one of those people that actually came back to playing Dying Light 2 because of custom maps, and they really do add so much replayability to the game, and they're only going to get better, and better. And let me take a moment to explain why. For the Dying Light 2 Firearms update, we got 6 new custom maps, all with guns. One is like Call of Duty, one is an arena shooter, and one is just Duck Hunt. These are all very fleshed out experiences that really show what dev tools can do. And with more updates, these are just only going to become more advanced. For example, once we get community map saves, that's going to be great for maps with long storytelling. You know, not everybody has a couple hours all the time to put into a custom map in Dying Light 2, so they can save and come back whenever they want. This type of thing is great for bigger maps like Elysium from the Project Renaissance team, and I think that'll also be great for when, I guess I feel like I should say more if, we get to make custom maps in Villador, the main game map. That'll just open the door to so many more possibilities, but I feel like that'll be more long term. I don't know if that'll actually happen. I believe custom map achievements got confirmed to be coming as well, so that'll be cool too. I've said this before in my own videos, but I do feel like Dying Light 2 is a great outlet for sandbox gaming in general. With so many games like Roblox or Fortnite on top of the world, those games are so big partly because of the creative community and what you can do within those sandbox games. It's not even just about creating little mini games. Some people are creating their own entire full-on games with storylines, cutscenes, and we already have gotten that somewhat for Dying Light 2, but it's just going to get better, like I said earlier. Just imagine when custom map co-op comes to Dying Light 2. I know there are some people out there who are avoiding custom maps because they want to wait for co-op to come first.
Me.
They want to experience it with a pal, and I get it. Hopefully, by the end of the year, we see most of these features in the game, but really the point is that there are so many possibilities for custom maps. Like, since the Bloody Ties DLC is now free, maybe we'll see more custom maps using those arena assets. Truthfully, all we can do is wait, sit back, and speculate about what's gonna come next. What new doors are gonna be open, what's gonna be possible in dev tools, and from there it's up to the mind of these map creators to create something unique. I will say, one suggestion I have for map creators is to add the bike more often, please. It's in like 2 maps, that's it, come on now. And when co-op comes, I'm sure there's gonna be a couple people making races. They'd be silly not to. I remember how many people decided to race in the following DLC in the first game. If there is one major worry I have for the future of Dying Light 2 custom maps, it's that the developers of Dying Light 2 taking too long to add the substantial updates and then the map creators just kinda give up. They run out of ideas with the tools that they're given, so they move on. I feel like right now we're kind of at a glory point with Dying Light 2 where the player counts are high, people are happy, but eventually the updates are going to slow down as they put a full focus on DLC 2. So, it's going to be interesting how the future goes, but with that said, that's going to be it from me for today. Thank you all for tuning in and having me, and I hope you all have a glorious day.
Now we know that the only things left on the roadmap is Tower Raid, mod support, and Nightmare difficulty. The next update is confirmed to be coming in April, but after that, the next steps for Dying Light 2 are completely unknown. Of course DLC 2 is in the making, but we have no idea when that is actually going to release. Hopefully it's sooner rather than later though. But with that, we have also reached the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and if you did and made it all the way to the end, comment cheese down below, and I'll know who the real ones are. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.